Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into a story that has the whole political sphere buzzing, and believe me, it's got all the ingredients of a South African political soap opera. We're talking about the economic freedom fighters coming out swinging after the United States and President Cyril Ramaphosa raised eyebrows over a high-profile trip to Iran by none other than South Africa's top soldier, General Rudzani Maphwanya, chief of the SANDF. Now, here's the scene. General Maphwanya visits Iran. A seemingly routine diplomatic and military engagement, nothing too unusual on the surface. But the United States immediately demands clarification, saying, "South Africa, explain yourselves." And before anyone can even sip their tea, President Cyril Ramaphosa's office steps in and insists that the statements of solidarity expressed by Maphwanya were not authorized. Essentially, Pretoria is saying, "Don't blame us," he went off script. Enter the EFF, marching in with red berets blazing, and they are furious. To them, this whole episode is another example of America's arrogance and Ramaphosa's cowardice. In their statement, they said South Africa is a sovereign country and has every right to engage with whoever it pleases, whether it's Iran, Brazil, or even Mars if Elon Musk builds a military base there. And to be honest, they do have a point. Why is it that when the US hosts military drills with Israel or pours billions into Ukraine, nobody in South Africa asks for a written explanation? But the moment Pretoria breathes near Tehran, Washington suddenly wants a press conference. The EFF went further. They reminded everyone that Iran is now a member of BRICS. So technically, General Maphwanya wasn't just making friends in the Middle East, he was mingling with a fellow bloc member. They also highlighted that the engagement with Iran had been planned way back in 2024, long before the latest round of US-Iran tensions. So, according to them, this was not about South Africa choosing sides in some global rivalry, but rather about continuing a relationship that was already in motion. But what really stung the EFF was Ramaphosa's response. Instead of defending his own general, instead of standing firm on sovereignty, they argue he bowed down to Washington's pressure. The EFF accused him of behaving in the same timid fashion they say he displayed when he visited the Oval Office, allegedly unable to assert South Africa's independence in the face of what they call imperial arrogance. That's strong language. For them, this is not just about foreign policy, it's about dignity. They claim that Ramaphosa is too eager to appease Western leaders, and that by doing so, he undermines South Africa's standing in the world. And in true EFF fashion, they didn't stop there. They accused Ramaphosa of playing politics with the military. Their warning was crystal clear: the army should not be controlled or muzzled by politicians who are afraid of upsetting the United States. They defended General Maphwanya, suggesting that he has every right to conduct engagements abroad without being used as a pawn in diplomatic games. Now, let's unpack this a little. South Africa finds itself in an incredibly delicate position internationally. On one hand, it's a member of BRICS, a grouping that includes Iran, Russia, and China, countries that Washington isn't exactly sending Christmas cards to. On the other hand, South Africa still depends on trade ties, investment, and diplomatic relations with the United States and the European Union. It's a balancing act, and it's not easy. But when balancing turns into wobbling, that's when the criticism comes pouring in. The EFF, of course, has always taken a hard stance against what they see as American hypocrisy. They pointed to Washington's unwavering support for Israel despite the suffering in Gaza, and they highlighted America's involvement in Ukraine, arguing that if the US can openly support its allies, then South Africa should be free to support or engage with whomever it chooses. The underlying message: don't lecture us on foreign policy when your own record is far from clean. But here's where the drama gets even more entertaining. The EFF accused Ramaphosa of specifically trying to downplay the Iran visit because he wanted to stay in the good books of Donald Trump. Yes, you heard that correctly. They brought Trump into it. Now, Whether Trump even noticed General Maphwanya's handshake in Tehran is another story, but the point the EFF was making is that Ramaphosa allegedly tailors South Africa's foreign relations to please powerful leaders rather than standing firmly on principle. And let's be honest, there is humor in the absurdity here. Imagine General Maphwanya going all the way to Tehran, speaking warmly of solidarity, only for his own president back home to immediately distance himself like a parent saying, "Sorry, my child speaks nonsense sometimes." The optics are embarrassing, and that is precisely what the EFF is latching onto. They're saying South Africa cannot claim to be an independent, sovereign nation while its leaders keep apologizing whenever Washington frowns. At the heart of this story is a bigger question: what does sovereignty really mean for South Africa in 2025? Can the country truly pursue independent international relations when global powers are watching every move? And is Ramaphosa protecting the nation's image, or is he shrinking under pressure? These are questions that don't have easy answers, but they do have consequences. For the EFF, the answer is clear. They believe South Africa must take bold stances, no matter who is offended. They're pushing for a foreign policy that is unapologetically independent, rooted in BRICS solidarity, and free from Western approval. Whether you agree with them or not, you can't deny that their rhetoric hits a nerve with many South Africans who are tired of what they see as Western double standards. So, what do you think? Should South Africa continue to carefully balance between East and West, or should it stand firmly with its BRICS partners? Consequences be damned. Should General Maphwanya's words in Iran be embraced as part of a new global posture, or should the president continue to rein him in to avoid diplomatic fallout? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And while you're at it, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into South African politics, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next episode. That's all for today, folks. This has been a fascinating look at how one general's trip abroad has set off a firestorm at home. From Washington's demands to Ramaphosa's backpedaling, and the EFF's fiery clapback, this is a story that sums up South Africa's tricky role in a divided world. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you next time.